We live.
Like it, boy, that was a mean yawn.
I know it almost was contagious.
That was a mean yawn.
No, look at this preset right here.
Let me
I'm
see.
trying to memorize it.
Say that. What'd you say? What'd you say?
So look at this precept right here, Proverbs 15:4. I'm gonna read it for you. It says, "A wholesome tongue is as a tree of life, but perverseness therein is as a breach in the spirit." Just the breach in the spirit part, that's super hot to me. Of course, the whole scripture is hot, but the breach in the spirit part is like it's a breach in your spirit. I mean, it's just hot. It's a hot precept to me. Adam, Shalom. I should say Adam, Shalom King. Ashar Shabbat. It's a beautiful, beautiful Sabbath. We got Officer Jahwam, Shalom King.
Shalom, everybody. I'm gonna grab. I'm gonna grab one.
I bet.
This is Second Esdras, chapter 7 and verse 20. It say what it say. It says, "For there be many that perish in this life because they despise the law of God that is set before them." Wow, that's hot. That's actually saying a lot. That's saying so much right there. There are many that perish in this life because they despise the law of God that is set before them. It's set before them because it's plain upon tables. It's easy to see. The whole world knows it by now that we're supposed to be keeping these law, statutes, and commandments. You can't argue against that. You can't go to the New Testament and argue it. You can't go to the Old Testament argue. You can't argue against keeping the Most High God's laws. You just can't. You can try to argue. You can try to argue the virgin birth. You can try to argue let's see, the mark of the beast. You can try to argue the Sabbath. You can argue. You can try to argue them things, but you cannot argue whether or not we have to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. This is plain upon table throughout the whole scriptures. And I'm gonna read the next verse, 2 Ezra 7 and 21. For God, for God hath given straight commandment to such as came, what they should do to live, even as they came, and what they should observe to avoid punishment. This is straight way. This is a straight commandment. Look, this is what you do to live, and this is what you do to avoid punishment. We all know this now. We all know this, but people are still going to despise the Most High God's commandments. I think it speaks about that. People who took liberty and abused the Most High God, abused His ways, abused the liberty and abused the grace that was given by the Most High God first and foremost, but came through the Mashiach. People abuse that. Well, I have grace, brother. I have grace, brother. I'm under the blood. They love to get, they love to get all spiritual and sound deep. I'm under the blood, brother. Being that I'm under the blood, I am no longer under that law. I'm no longer under that schoolmaster. They try to, they try to get to spitting and they try to get to sounding smart, but they really don't sound smart when you go into the scriptures and you find out what's actually going on. You're under that blood, so you do not get stoned. That's what you're under the blood for. Just because you don't get stoned don't mean that you continue in sin. Paul taught us this a plethora of times. I mean a plethora of times. Because under Christ, here's the crazy part. Under Christ, there's going to be a sore punishment that's given. That's Hebrews 10:26. There's going to be a greater punishment that comes because you decided to abuse the liberty and grace that Christ brings. Wow. That's crazy, bro. I didn't think I was even going to get in all that with this verse 20
Bro,
and
you just
21.
got hot out of nowhere.
I ain't even going to lie. That was
What
crazy.
precept you start off with? Second Ezra's what?
7 and 20.
Okay, look, like let me grab another one. You got on fire. Okay. Bro, we gotta get to the lesson, bro. All
I
right, look.
know.
Second Ezra's 9 and 37. It's a classic. Man, if you read this chapter, it's hot. Man, I want to get a full breakdown of why the scripture is here. But man, I want to, like, in context, it's hot. It's hot. In context, it's hot. But I'm gonna just read the scripture that I'm going to. Second Ezra 9:37. It says, notwithstanding, the law perish not, but remaineth in its force. So the law does not perish. It does not go away. It remains in its force. It stays here. It's always going to be here. So just to piggyback off what Officer Aharon said, the law not going nowhere. It never went nowhere. It's always been here. You should always keep the law. Don't let nobody persuade you to not keep the law. The only time the nation of Israel gets in trouble by the Most High God is when they break the law. That's the only time. So why would you go break the law? It don't add up. Logically, it just don't make sense to go against what God said. It don't. It don't. But you got anything else you want to pull out?
No, sir.
Bet. First and foremost, all praises, honor, and glory go to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Hashem Mashiach Yahweh Shah. The title of this lesson is Daniel chapter 4, and we're going to be going over that. And it is composed of Nebuchadnezzar, him having a dream and needing the interpretation, and Daniel, of course. And we're going to get into it. It's a lot of good stuff in here. So, Lord willing, everybody edified and can eat up a little bit.
I want to ask the chat a question real quick.
Shalom, Zion. Go ahead.
How long were we in captivity under Babylon? I want to ask the chat that real quick.
How long was we in the Babylonian captivity?
Yes, sir. Somebody got to get it. I know somebody on it.
Except for Taiwan. He knows.
Right. Come on, Zion. I know Zion in here. Zion, you should know this.
He asking Abba right now.
Right. Brothers gotta be studied up. Maybe somebody already put it in and they lagging. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But while we wait on that answer, I'm not gonna forget about it. While we wait on the answer, we can go ahead and start the lesson.
Cool. All right. I feel like reading, so I'll read.
All right. I'll open up. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Hashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shah. Did you already say that? Did you already open up?
I did, but beautiful.
Bro,
You're in
it's a lot.
You're in
It's a
spirit.
lot.
All right. Adam answered first. He said 70 years in Babylon with a question mark. Z-Dog. Look at Z-Dog. Zooming talks.
Man.
He said, I thought 40, but had 70 in mind too. Shalom.
I wonder where everybody getting the 40 from.
Said, man, it's crazy. I was just reading Daniel 4 last night. God, you in the spirit. We in the spirit. Oh.
I grab a
Precept on
precepts. Yes, sir.
All right.
You got Jeremiah 29:10. It says, for thus saith the Lord, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good work toward you in causing you to return to this place. So we were in captivity under Babylon 70 years. Another precept, Jeremiah 25:12. And it shall come to pass when 70 years are accomplished that I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation, saith the Lord, for their iniquity and the land of the Chaldeans, and I will make it perpetual desolation. So the answer is 70 years. I believe if you go read in Baruch or letter of Jeremiah Baruch chapter 6, letter of Jeremiah chapter 1, I believe, it says that we were in Babylon for 7 generations, which is also equivalent to 70 years. While we were getting into this, I'm just keep everybody on their toes. What captivity was before Babylon and what captivity was directly after Babylon? But while they getting that, we can start reading.
All right, give me 1 second.
Got it. Come on, Z-Dog. Z-Dog said 40. You say 40, folks. probably thinking about how long did I think Solomon reign. He might be conflating.
Con. All right, Con. The book of Daniel, chapter 4 and verse 1. It says, I'm going to read it in this Bible. It's a little bigger. It says, Nebuchadnezzar, the king unto all people, nations, and languages that dwell on the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. I thought it good to show thee the signs and wonders that the high God have wrought for thee. How great are his signs, and how mighty are his wonders. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and his dominion from generation to generation.
All
I
right,
never
so hold on. So Nebuchadnezzar is kind of, he kind of showing respect to the God of heaven and earth, to our God, the Most High God. But when you're dealing with Nebuchadnezzar is what people in the world call wishy-washy. He'll kind of start out by saying something, then he'll kind of, switch it up. He's a double talker. He kind of, that's how his tongue works. He'll show praise to our God. Then next week, show praise to another god or set up another idol. Or that's how Nebuchadnezzar worked. Nebuchadnezzar is the king of Babylon. That's kind of how he got down a little bit. But go ahead.
This is the book of James, chapter 1 and verse 8. It says, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Salaki, and that's exactly how he is. He double-minded. And you'll see this in multiple accounts in the book of Daniel where he double-minded, not just in this chapter. But
for real. Just keep reading.
Reading on verse 4, it says, Nebuchadnezzar was at rest in my house. It says, I, Nebuchadnezzar, was at rest in mine house and flourishing in my palace. I saw a dream which made me afraid, and the thoughts upon my bed and the visions of my head troubled me. Therefore made I a decree to bring all the wise men of Babylon before me, that they might make known unto me the interpretation of the dream.
So Nebuchadnezzar got a dream and it troubled him. This isn't Nebuchadnezzar's first run-in with dreams. We see Nebuchadnezzar and Daniel dealing with the dream, I believe, in chapter 2, the head of gold, I believe. So now he's received another dream, and he's calling all the magicians, the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers to make known the interpretation to him. Because his last dream, he was like, I can't even tell you what happened. I don't know what happened. I don't even know where to begin with. I forgot it. But make it known to me. And everybody was confounded except our beloved brother Daniel. Daniel was the wise man that could give that interpretation. But let's see if the magician, let's see if the astrologer, let's see if the Chaldean or the soothsayer can give the interpretation thereof. Let's see which one of them is with it. Go ahead, Slakia.
Quick precept. This is Sirach chapter 40 and verse 5. It says, wrath and envy, trouble and unquietness, fear of death and anger and strife, and in the time of rest upon his bed, his night's sleep do change his knowledge. It says, a little or nothing is his rest, and afterward he is in his sleep. As in a day of keeping watch, troubled in the vision of his heart, as if he were escaped out of a battle. When all is safe, he awaketh and marveleth that the fear was nothing. So nightmares and having these kind of dreams, it's actually wisdom that goes into it. Of course, some dreams can have meanings when you wake up. Some dreams is just dreams and nightmares. But just pulling out a precept that deals with the things that Nebuchadnezzar is going to, I'm just linking the precepts to show you that it's all in the Bible. So you got to get a good general idea of how the Bible teaches you about certain things. So that's why I put out that precept. Nothing hidden or crazy. I wanted to show you just a precept showing you nightmares in the Bible and how you'll wake up feeling like, damn, fear, death, anger, envy, strife. Man, you'll wake up thinking you was in a full battle. You wake up and you sweating, but you read about all of these. What is it called? Sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
Brothers have all kind of dreams. You got prophetic dreams. You got all kind of dreams, and the Bible gives you details on how it just goes in detail about dreams. Like the Bible, I guess why I pulled it out because the Bible it still amazes me that the Bible deals with literally everything. It deals with everything. But yeah, I'm gonna keep reading. I was at
Hey,
verse.
Salak, I'm gonna read verse 8. I don't know if you read verse 8.
I
I'm gonna read
didn't.
verse 8 in Sirach because it's crazy. It
God,
says, "Such things happen unto all flesh." So everybody receives this. It says both man and beast. Everybody receives nightmares and terrible dreams and so on and so forth. But here's the point, and that is sevenfold more upon sinners. So if you just back to back to back to back dealing with sleep paralysis, dealing with this, dealing with that, oh my God, I got to deal with this dream. I'm having a terrible nightmare. This. It's a reason for that. It's a reason for that. The Lord trying to wake you up physically and in the spirit. You know what I'm saying? Lord trying to deal with you. It's sevenfold more upon sinners. That's all I wanted to touch on. I thought that was an interesting point.
Con, con. I'm glad you actually went to that verse. It's highlighted in my book, but somehow I didn't read it. All right, so where did I stop at? Verse 6.
Yes, sir. I think so.
All right, so I'm gonna read verse 6. It says, "Therefore made I a decree to bring in all the wise men of Babylon before me, that they might make known unto me the interpretation of the dream. Then came in the magicians, the astrologers of the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers, and I told the dream before them, but they did not make known unto me the interpretation thereof. But at the last, Daniel came in before me, whose name was Belteshazzar, according to the name of my God, and in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. And before him I told the dream, saying."
So, all right. So, hold on. So, none of the magicians, none of the soothsayers, none of the astrologers could figure out the interpretation of the dream. So they called in Daniel. Like I said earlier, Daniel, he already got a good reputation because he had already interpreted a dream. He already got a good interpretation. Slacky. I look up Belteshazzar because that was the name that the Babylonians gave to Daniel, and I just wanted to see what it meant. And it looks like Belteshazzar means Lord of the straitened treasures. I don't know what that means.
I mean what? Lord of what?
Lord of the straightens treasure.
Hmm.
I don't. I.
It's
I.
probably some more detailed information we're missing about that.
It could be. I mean, well, I know it is because this is Babylonian meanings and whatnot.
Yeah, and it says that Belteshazzar, whose name was Belteshazzar, according to the name of my God.
I know, and that's exactly why I looked it up because I thought it was gonna like
Give you the breakdown and
give me the
detail.
give me the
Like we,
business on it.
right, we missing like what? Yeah,
He
I
said,
would do the
"Yeah,
same thing. I like that's where my mind went because I always read. I read. I mean, we read this together. I mean, I never caught that he named him after his God.
yeah, for
Yeah,
real."
that's interesting.
But we can Salakia. Verse 8 it says, "But at the last Daniel came in before me, whose name was Belteshazzar, according to the name of my God, and in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. And before him I told the dream, saying." So Daniel was already a man of renown, known to have the spirit of the holy gods. Daniel's walking around in a Babylonian territory. He's in Babylon, and they worship a lot of gods. They worship a lot of deities. They worship damn near every and anything under the sun. So Daniel was actually walking around, uh, uh, not him saying he did it like on purpose, but they envisioned him as the embodiment of the Holy Spirits, of the holy gods. That's what they pictured Daniel.
They said he has
This
a spirit.
he in the spirit, boy, because no one has ever did what Daniel did. He told another man his dream when the man couldn't himself even give him anything to work off of. He just said, bro, I had a dream and you got to tell me what happened and tell me what it means. If I come to you and ask that and require that of you, you can't do it. Nobody can. At least that's what we think. That's what we think. That's what Nebuchadnezzar thought. That's what the magicians and the soothsayers, the astrologers, that's what they all thought. That's what they all believed until Daniel came through. And that's why he got that kind of reputation dealing with the spirit of the holy gods. We know the most high God dealing with Daniel. They thought every other god was dealing with Daniel, you know? But if you ain't got nothing, we can keep going.
Time. So now we have verse 9.
Yes, sir.
It says, O Belteshazzar, master of the magicians, because I know that the spirit of the holy gods is in thee, and no secret troubleth thee. Tell me the visions of my dream that I have seen, and the interpretation thereof.
All right, so Salakia, there's something right here that Nebuchadnezzar said. He said, "Oh, Belteshazzar, who is Daniel, master of the magicians." To Nebuchadnezzar, to men who aren't of understanding, to men who are not spiritual, the things that Daniel did seemed like it was magic. We know Daniel's not dealing with witchcraft. We know Daniel's not dealing with magic. We know Daniel's not dealing with crystals. We know he's not dealing with these things on the left-hand side. But to him, it seems as if it's magic. But we know Daniel was upright and pure of heart. I know that could be a stumbling block to some people. They'll see that, master the magicians, and they'll try to, thinking they can deal with it now, and they can go into magic, and they can go into witchcraft. That's not what this is talking about.
Right. And how we know is because we know that Daniel was an upright, pure of heart man, a man who kept the law. And it tells you what you should do with soothsayers and witches in the law. It tells you to just kill them. All right, let me see if I can grab a quick precept in Leviticus 19. Let's see. Leviticus 19 and 31. It says, regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them. I am the Lord your God. So I tell you, don't deal with them. It's another one in the same chapter, I thought. Let's see. Leviticus 20 and 6, it says, and the soul that turneth after such as have familiar spirits and after wizards to go a whoring after them, I will even set my face against that soul and will cut him off from his people. So the Lord said he don't deal with them, and if you are dealing with them, he's gonna cut you off. So that's two laws on it. So we know Daniel wasn't doing it, just to back up what Officer Aharon was saying. I'm glad you touched on that because I overlooked that thinking that everybody might just understand it, but that's not the case. Where was I at? Verse 10?
Yes, sir.
All right, verse 10. It says, thus were the visions of mine head in my bed. I saw, and behold, a tree in the midst of the earth, and the height thereof was great.
So now we got put a mental note. Now is the dream being made known unto Daniel. Nebuchadnezzar is telling him what he saw. First thing he starts to says, behold, I saw a tree in the midst of the earth, and the height thereof was great. So envision the earth, and then envision a tree. Keep in mind all these things that Nebuchadnezzar is about to bring forth. Come on.
It says the tree grew and was strong, and the height thereof reached unto heaven, and the sight thereof to the end of all the earth.
Come on.
The leaves thereof were fair, and the fruit thereof much, and in it was meat for all. The beasts of the field had shadow under it. The fowls of the heaven dwelt in the boughs thereof, and all flesh was fed of it.
So this is a good tree. This seems like this is a good tree. When it says the height thereof reached unto heaven, this is just talking about it reached unto the skies. It's not going into where the Most High dwell or nothing like that. It's just saying it reached very high. It was tall. It was mighty, and everybody knows about trees. You see the roots of a tree. That's kind of what it's talking about. How it's getting fed all that nutrients. It's getting so much nutrients that it can feed everybody else. Everybody else is now starting to eat the fruit from it. The beasts of the field, the fowls of heaven, everybody, all the beasts, everything is coming there to feed off this tree? Come on.
Con. It says, verse 13, I saw in the visions of my head upon my bed, and behold, a watcher, and the Holy One came down from heaven.
So now we got a watcher and a holy one. Come on.
It says, he cried aloud and said, thus hew down the tree and cut off his branches, shake off his leaves, and scatter his fruit. Let the beasts get away from under it, and the fowls from his branches.
Come on.
Nevertheless, leave the stump of his roots in the earth, even with a band of iron and brass, and the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beast in the grass of the earth.
So now it's saying, okay, you got the watcher and the holy one, and they saying hew the tree down.
Cut it
Once
down.
you cut that tree down, leave a stump. Leave a stump with a band of iron and brass, and let it be with the rest of the beasts. Let it be with let it be with the beast of the field. Let it just sit out there. You know, cut it down, scatter everything from under it. No more of this tree. You know, to a regular man, this is what I think of. I think of why cut the tree down. Everybody was eating from it. Everybody was sustaining off of it. It don't seem like it could have been that bad.
Right? It was a good tree.
It was a good looking tree, yeah, for real. But then that's when this verse comes into play. Hold on.
Talk about Yahweh.
Nah, let me get this. Isaiah 55:8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. This isn't for a regular man to just this isn't for Nebuchadnezzar to just get it. He like, damn, I just seen a tree, and a watcher and a holy one came down, and they said hew it down. I don't know what the hell going on here. That's basically what that's all he got. If I was to receive this dream, I wouldn't know what the hell going on. Damn, why did that happen? What's the meaning behind this?
Why am I dreaming about a big fat tree?
Right.
I wouldn't have thought it was nothing either.
Yeah, I would have just thought it was a regular dream. Damn, all right, keep it moving, But we can keep reading if you ain't got nothing.
God, verse 16. Let his heart be changed from man's, and let a beast heart be given unto him, and let 7 times pass over him.
So hold on. Now we kind of get a clue to what's going on. I don't know if anybody caught that. Read that verse again.
Verse 16 again, it says, let his heart be changed from man's heart, and let a beast heart be given unto him, and let 7 times pass over him.
It says, let his heart be changed from man's. We're talking about a tree. What do you mean? What? This is what Nebuchadnezzar is hearing in his dream. He watched the tree get cut down, and then they say, let his heart be changed from man's, and let a beast heart be given to it. So now I'm going to act like I'm a Christian. I interpret this as, damn, trees got the heart of man. When we look at a tree, that's a man spirit in there. You know what I'm saying? That's probably my dead uncle or something. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He probably right there watching me. That's how Christians will interpret this, bro.
That's no lie.
That's bugged out.
You gonna vex me before camp?
When we look at these trees are people and their dead relatives, and my uncle died right here, and then this tree grew up, and now that's my uncle. The Bible says that the man's heart is in trees. That's not what's going on. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry to let y'all know that. That's not what's going on. All right. But we will tell you what's going on. Let's just keep reading a little bit, and then we gonna discover it.
God. Too lucky. Verse 17 says, this matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men.
Okay, so there was a purpose behind cutting down this tree. There was a purpose and a reason for cutting down this tree. It says, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men. We're still kind of lost though. We still kind of don't get what's going on, you know. So we're going to keep reading and let's see if context helps us out. Let's see if context can save us. Come on.
Verse 18 says, "This dream I, King Nebuchadnezzar, have seen. Now thou, O Belteshazzar, declare the interpretation thereof. For as much as all the wise men of my kingdom are not able to make known unto me the interpretation, but thou art able, for the spirit of the holy gods is in thee."
So now he's just asking now he's asking Daniel for help. You know, that's the whole dream. That's what happened. I told you what the Holy One said. I told you all of that. Help me out. What does this mean? Come on.
Then Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, was astonished for 1 hour, and his thoughts troubled him. The king spake and said, Belteshazzar, let not the dream or the interpretation trouble thee. Belteshazzar answered and said, My lord, the dream be to them that hate thee, and the interpretation thereof to thine enemies.
So now Daniel was astonished. He kind of didn't really get it. Like, damn, this is what it's going into. Because, you know, Daniel had to figure it out. He had to go sit there and meditate and think about it for a second. And then Nebuchadnezzar showed up to him and then he said, Lord, the dream be to them that hate thee, and the interpretation thereof to thine enemies. Meaning, this dream is not for you, bro.
Literally. Hey,
Go
and
ahead.
another thing, you gotta think about this too. Daniel is a man, important man, but he's still a damn captive in another man's kingdom. So he gotta watch what he say around the king, or the king gonna smoke him. So if he tell the king, like, look, man, you gonna die, nigga. This is for your enemies. Boom, boom, boom. You gotta be careful. Sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it and how you lay it on the table. Because if he do anything crazy or say anything crazy, if you do anything crazy, the king gonna kill you. If you tell the king that your dream is about something he don't want to hear, you just gotta think about that. The king is liable to take his anger out on you. That's what I'm trying to say. You tell him he had a bad dream and the dream mean this and that, and it's something he don't want to hear, he's liable to take his anger out on you and kill you. You see what I'm saying?
God.
So that's something else to think about. But let's keep reading. Shalom, we got Yadadiah in here. Shalom. Oh yeah, and the brother said this. Adam.
Yeah. You correct.
Back there. God. All right. It says Assyrian, Babylonian, Persian, and Persian. I think. Okay, Khan. What you say, Ak?
Yeah, he correct. You got Egypt, you got Assyrian, you got Babylon, you got Persian. Yeah.
He had to walk through it in his head. Khan. All right, let's keep moving. Let's keep reading. All right, Khan. Verse. Where I stop at, King?
Verse 20. Start at 20.
Okay, Khan. Verse 20 says, The tree that thou sawest which grew and was strong, whose height reached unto heaven, and the sight thereof to all the earth, whose leaves were fair, and the fruit thereof much, and in it was meat for all, under which the beasts of the field dwelt, and upon whose branches the fowls of the heaven had their habitation.
Come on.
It is thou, O king,
Ooh.
that art grown and become strong, for thy greatness is grown and reacheth unto heaven, and thy dominion to the end of the earth.
God. So now we get the interpretation. The tree that you saw that was strong, that had fruit for all, that gave meat, that all the beasts of the field dwelt under, it is you, O king. You're the tree that we saw. So now I'm going to go to a scripture that helps us understand what trees What a lot of times trees mean or represent in the scriptures, whenever you're dealing with, like, stuff that's like kind of parabolical or whatever. Let me see if I can find it.
Wait, you looking for a precept that say what, King?
Going over trees and how they are synonymous with men.
Okay, I'm gonna get one for you, and that's a good one in Psalms.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I overlooked it, but now I see it.
Okay.
All right. This is Psalms chapter 1 and verse 3. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, bringing forth his fruit in his season. His leaves also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. So men are represented as trees, when you're dealing parabolically, or in the scriptures. Let me see if I can find another, not another one. Go ahead, get your
Hey,
2 precept.
that's another good one in Psalms chapter 1 in context. But this is Mark chapter 8 and verse 20. I'm starting at 22. It says, "And he cometh to Bethsaida, and they bring him a blind man unto him, and besought him to touch him. And he took the blind man by the hand and led him out of the town. And when he had spit on his eyes and put his hands upon him, he asked him if he saw aught. And he looked and said, I see men as trees walking." So I could have just got the point, but I read the context anyway because it's been so long since I pulled this preset, so it was refreshing. But it says he looked, a blind man, once he put the spit on his eyes and he said, I see men walking as trees. I see men as trees walking. So just another scripture that shows you that men are referred to as trees in the scriptures. And we can get a few more. That's another parable over in Ezekiel, I believe, too.
Hey, one thing that's pretty crazy to me. If you look at a tree and you look at all its vines and you look at its roots and you just sit there and look at a tree, you can kind of be like, okay, I can see where you would understand this. Like when I look at vines run through a tree, I see veins. You know what I'm saying? That's where he's getting his nutrients from. It's kind of like a little cycle. And then one thing one brother brought to me, mind you, this is not, I'm not, this ain't scriptural. I'm just saying. One brother came to me, he was like, the dope thing about a tree and the dope thing about us. I said, what? He said, when you look at a tree, it kind of looks like hair. He said, but whose hair does it look like? I was like, damn, that's kind of fire. Because our hair, I've heard people say our hair defies gravity. It's just dope things about our hair. When you look at the natural state of an afro, it looks like a tree. It's just a little dope stuff like that. But one precept I did want to grab is Proverbs 10 and 21. It says, the lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for want of wisdom. Why did I bring this out? I brought this out because in Daniel, it says that the tree fed many with his fruit. He fed many. He overshadowed many. When it goes into them getting fed with the fruit and the meat thereof, it's not talking about actual food. It's going into the doctrine and the philosophy that Babylon was kicking out, that Nebuchadnezzar was kicking out. Because at first, let's see, let me go back and read the first verse of Daniel chapter 4 and verse 1. Let's see what it said. Daniel 4 and 1. Nebuchadnezzar the king unto all people, nations, and languages that dwelt in all the earth. Peace be multiplied unto you. His doctrine, his philosophy, Nebuchadnezzar literally wasn't over everyone, but everybody knew about Babylonian doctrine. This was the hot thing. He's the number one. He's the hegemony. He's above all nations of the earth right now, and he's kicking doctrine. Look, if you want to be healed, this is how you do it. I heard it from a Babylonian doctor, so you know it's right. That's kind of how they getting down. Did you hear about the gods that they serving over there in Babylon? That's kind of what you want to do. That's kind of the hot topic. Just like how America is the hot topic in today's society. Everyone from different countries. Damn, I want to go to America. I want to be in America. I want to do this. I want to do that. Go ahead.
Hey, I was messing around yesterday on Google, and I looked up because it's been something because way back in middle school, I was in like pre-algebra or something like that. And my teacher had this book, and she was like a math fanatic. She just loved math. I don't know why, but she loved math. And obviously she's a math teacher, but she had this book and she was showing the class. This wasn't actually in our criteria that we needed to learn, but she was showing us some of the books she had. And one of them was a math book, obviously, and it was about the um, the worldwide language. Because no matter where you go on Earth, two is two. No matter where you go on Earth, three is still going to be equal to three. They might call it something else and they might have their own language, but they have numbers. We all have a number system, and 2 + 2 is always 4, no matter where you go on Earth. So it's a worldwide language. And I ended up messing around on there. You know how it gives you free FAQs, frequently asked questions. And one of them was like, what is the most popular language on Earth? And it's English. That is if you want to get far in life and you want a whole bunch of doors to open up for you, you got to know English. You have to know English. So English right now is the most popular language. You got Mandarin Chinese, which is real close. Over there in China, they densely populated. I think Spanish and French is high up there too. But those are some of the most popular languages. But English, from what I looked at, I think this was 2 days ago or yesterday. Yesterday, it said that English was the most popular language. Just to piggyback off what you said, King.
Exactly. That's the fruit thereof. That's the leaves that's falling off the tree, which is symbolically in Daniel, Nebuchadnezzar, and Babylon. But in today's era is spiritually America, which is funny. Again, Babylon. That's the fruit, and that's the leaves that's falling off of Christmas. That's fruit. You got Halloween. You got Valentine's Day. Everybody in different countries and different parts of the world are following America's philosophies, doctrines, everything, and following it and eating under that tree. And guess what? America is exalted to the heavens just as Nebuchadnezzar was. Go ahead, Salakia.
Most definitely. And we had the pleasure of talking to people who are from different countries. And when you talk to people, not from different states, but from different countries, it really opens your eyes to how America is really viewed. Because he was like, I think he was a foreign exchange student at some point. And he came over here a long time ago, but he was around in the camp for a little bit, but he had to go back. But that's a beloved brother of ours, Regal. Shout out, bro, if you see the video. We miss you. Hey, Regal said he might be in Texas soon. He got some business going on. Anyways, he was telling us about how all the way in Africa and Angola, precisely to be precise, he said that they keep up with our presidential elections. I'm gonna tell you right now, as an American, I don't even keep up with our presidential elections like that. I don't care for them. The person that I want ruling over me, I want it to be an Israelite. An Israelite, he knows he's an Israelite. He knows I want him to keep Deuteronomy, what is it, 17, King, where he writes the whole law down. I want him to or Deuteronomy 15, one of those. But anyways, I want my king to be keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of God and to be serving the Most High with all his heart, with all his mind, with all his soul. That's what I want. So I don't care about. I have to care about it to a certain extent because you can't be ignorant in any matter. But I don't care. I don't care about that. But the point is that I'm saying all of this is because he told me all the way over there they keep up with our presidential elections. They keep up with certain laws of ours, and they way over there. They keep up with our holidays. They keep up with Halloween, Christmas. Why are they celebrating this? And they way over there. You got all the way in Africa. They literally keeping. Why are you keeping St. Patrick's Day? They're doing that though. That's how you know that America is this modern great tree. And all the fruits and the leaves and the shadows, they abiding underneath it and they eating of it, man. So we know that this is the Babylon the Great. We know that America is just a modern new edition of the old Babylon, if you can understand. But I have one more precept about a tree because it's eating on me.
Go ahead.
All right. And then after this, if you don't got none, we can get back to where we was. I forgot where we left off. Maybe like, oh, we on 23. All right. So real quick, this is Psalms chapter 1. And I'm going to read through it kind of fast because I want to get to the point. Hey, we got Tajia Shalom King. This brother right here, bro, he hit me up. He hit me up and check on my household frequently. Like he just hit me up. He asked me questions on Facebook. He tap in with me like he know me, man. So all praises, man. I got a certain kind of love for that brother. All praises. It's not like for like now I actually know this brother. And that's how it be. I want brothers to hit me up, check on me. I check on y'all. You know, share information, questions. That's how it's supposed to be. So I appreciate this brother right here. It's a few of the brothers that tap in with me like that too. And we actually forged a relationship. We in certain chats now. Like, bro, tap in with me, bro. I'm chill. I'm chill. If you can find me on Facebook, Mahar Rakah, or on Instagram, Mahar_Rakah. Just hit me up, man. I'm chill. We can exchange knowledge. Aharon actually don't have a Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah, you want to talk to me? You talk to Mar.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
just hit me up. Just hit me up and yeah, we can tap in with you. We might actually throw you in one of these chats, man. We be in there vibing and meditating on the scriptures while we at work or whatever the case may be. We'll be doing readings in there. We be breaking bread. People be breaking bread with us, man. So just tap in with us. There's a lot of love to go around. But anyways, Psalms chapter 1, verse 1, it says, "Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper." So in the book of Psalms, this is how the book of Psalms start off. If you read Psalms and you don't have no understanding and you kicking it off with chapter 1, it's not going to hit. But if you understand certain principles and the way that the Bible teaches you in code, chapter 1 is it's only 6 verses, but it's heavy. I just read down to verse 3. It says, "If you walk in the Most High God's commandments and you're doing what you're supposed to do, you're going to be like a strong tree." A tree might sound basic and plain, but trees live forever almost. Trees live for a long time. You're only as strong as your roots. So the deeper your roots is in the law, statutes, and commandments, the stronger and the more prosperous, the more your tree gonna prosper. Your leaves not gonna wither, even though the seasons change. It's certain like an evergreen tree. It's certain trees, even though it's winter, the leaves don't wither away. They still stay green all throughout the winter. And that's the kind of tree you want to be. You want to be able to stay. You want your roots to be so grounded you want it to be so grounded in the law, statutes, and commandments that no matter what seasons come, no matter what cold, no matter what heat, no matter what wind blows, you stand firm in them law, statutes, and commandments and obeying the Most High God. If you can do that, you're going to be a prosperous tree. It's going to be like you planted by the rivers of water. And that's where you soak up them nutrients from the water, from getting the sun, the vitamins from the sun. You're going to be a prosperous tree. So if you got understanding, you can see how heavy that is. But in order to be this tree, you can't be hearkening to evil people. You can't be taking advice and counsel from wicked men. That's what it says. It says, "Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly." So you don't want to walk in the counsel is just advice. You don't want to take advice and you carrying out the advice from a man who doesn't have any understanding. He teaching you how to go against God and break his commandments. You don't want to be that way. You don't want to be kicking it with all the people who just in the world all the time, because them things, spirits are contagious. You want to be rooted by the rivers of water, by another strong tree. They're going to show you the game. But yeah, I can talk about trees. Might seem so boring to people, but bro, it's so many different kind of trees. You can get literally different kinds of nuts from trees. You can get different kind of fruits from trees. Everyone knows or should know trees. It gives off oxygen. Trees is important. Trees is important. So it might be simple and you just don't care about it, but in the scriptures, it's important to understand the different kind of trees and what they're made for, what they do for you. But yeah, back at Daniel chapter 4, unless you got something.
Yeah, Salakia, real quick. Another thing, while you was talking about the foundations and stuff, trees are virtually immovable. You can run a damn semi truck into a tree and it ain't going nowhere.
It ain't going nowhere.
It ain't going nowhere, bro. Like, it ain't moving. That's the point. You're supposed to be immovable when you in the truth. Can't nothing waver your faith. You ain't trying to be tossed to and fro, so on and so forth. But I did want to grab what beast are. I got Ecclesiastes 3 and 18 because the interpretation isn't going to tell us what beast are. So you kind of got to know. You got to have the keys to unlock it. You know what I'm saying? The Bible gives us the keys. But I will read this in Daniel 4 before I grab that Ecclesiastes. Daniel 4 and 21. It says, "Whose leaves were fair, and the fruit thereof much, and in it was meat for all, under which the beast of the field dwelt, and upon whose branches the fowls of the heaven had their habitation." So we know the tree is talking about Nebuchadnezzar. Was Nebuchadnezzar feeding beasts and fowls? Like, what is that going into? I'm gonna grab this precept. It's Ecclesiastes 3 and 18. It says, "I said in mine heart concerning the estate of the sons of men, that God might manifest them, and that they might see that they themselves are beasts." That they themselves are beasts. When you go, we got different operations that was given to us from the Most High God, and one of those operations was understanding. When you lack understanding, you are now equivalent to a beast. That's the crazy part. My dog doesn't have understanding. He wasn't given that operation. He was given many other operations. Understanding wasn't given to him. He was given instinct. That's what he was given. Instinct. He was not given understanding. So if a man does not have understanding, which a lot of men do not, if they are not, if they do not have understanding, they are equivalent to beast. And this is exactly what was going on. This is exactly what was talking about in Daniel chapter 4. Nebuchadnezzar fed many with what? Doctrines, philosophies, math, science, education. You wanted a great education? You go to Babylon. You wanted a great understanding on how to read the stars? You go to Babylon. This is exactly what was set up for Nebuchadnezzar, but let's not forget that there was a purpose to all these things. We can get back to Daniel 4. That way we can see what's going on.
Let's get it. So we're in Daniel chapter 4 and verse 23, and it says, "And whereas the king saw," Salaki, I had to turn the page. "And whereas the king saw a watcher and the Holy One coming down from heaven, and saying, Hew the tree down and destroy it, yet leave the stump of the roots thereof in the earth, even with a band of iron and brass, and the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts of the field, till 7 times pass over him."
Come on.
This is the interpretation, O king, and this is the decree of the Most High, which has come upon my Lord the king.
So this is the interpretation for verse 23. What does it mean, cut down and leave the stump? What is he talking about? Come on.
Verse 25, "That they shall drive thee from men." So let me read that again. "That they shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field, and they shall make thee to eat grass as oxen, and they shall wet thee with the dew of heaven, and 7 times shall pass over thee, till thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will."
So the interpretation is that Nebuchadnezzar will be driven from men. Nebuchadnezzar is going to be driven from men, and his dwelling shall be with the beast of the field. He's going to become an animal. He's going to become an animal. We just read that in Ecclesiastes 3:18. I said in mine heart concerning the estate of the sons of men, that God might manifest them, and that they might see that they themselves are beasts. Nebuchadnezzar is going to find out how he is a beast. He is going to go and eat grass like oxen. We're not meant to just eat grass like oxen. It's not what our stomach is made for. It says, and they shall wet thee with the dew of heaven, and 7 times shall pass over thee. Meaning that it's going to be a period of time until Nebuchadnezzar returns back to his regular estate. This is the interpretation thereof. And until, remember the purpose, until Nebuchadnezzar finds out that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men and giveth it to whomsoever he will. This is a punishment for pride. Go ahead, Oxlakia.
No. The point that I was going to harp on is what you just harped on. The whole reason of this dream and all of this happening to him is so Nebuchadnezzar understands that he not really in charge, that he not the big bad wolf, that the Most High God is the big bad wolf, and he set him up. That's what the Most High is doing to him. He's trying to humble Nebuchadnezzar so he can understand that Yahweh is the one in charge and calling the shots at the end of the day.
Yes, sir.
Khan. Moving on, we have verse 26 in Daniel chapter 4. It says, and whereas they commanded to leave the stump of the tree roots, thy kingdom shall be sure unto thee after thou shalt have known that the heavens do rule.
So okay, so a root shall be left, meaning that his kingdom is not just going to fall completely, and he's going to have somebody that's ruling after him, who we know as Belshazzar, not Belteshazzar, but Belshazzar, his son. Come on.
Khan, verse 27. It says, wherefore, O king, let my counsel be acceptable unto thee, and break off thy sins by righteousness. Yee! Daniel told the king to break off his sins by righteousness. That's hot. It says, and thy iniquities by showing mercy to the poor. Let's go. Daniel hard.
Yeah.
If it may be a lengthening of thy tranquility. So if it may be a lengthening of thy reign in thy kingdom. He said, let my words be acceptable to you. Mind you, you can't talk to the king however you want to. You can't tell this king. It's not fit for a regular guy to say, look, man, you gotta get yourself. You can't say that to the king. You can't say, look, man, you gotta stop sinning.
A captive.
A captive cannot talk to a king this way and say, look, nigga, you gotta stop sinning. You can't, look, you gotta be merciful. A captive can't talk to a king, especially not how Daniel talked. But Daniel is wise as a serpent. Look how before I preach this all the time. I preach this to my rib. I preach this to everybody. I preach this to the Akim. I always say it. Sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And if you want someone to receive something, you got to open it up right so they can actually receive it and be like, okay, this is what he's trying to say. So before Daniel said anything to critique this man, he said, look, let my words be acceptable. I'm not trying to cross no lines. I'm not hunting for your head. I'm not trying to cut you. Look at how wise he is. This is something you, as a woman, you got to understand this. If you want your husband to change something about himself or to change how he's running his household, you got to know how to deliver it. If you getting all rude and upset and pissy and raising your voice, you just talking, you can't even control. But if you say, look, king, I hope you can hear me when I'm saying. I'm not trying to be over you or usurp any authority over you. If you open up like that, he might give you his ear. Daniel is wise like that. He talking to a king. You got to kind of know what you finna say and know how you finna say it. You got to think about it. Let me grab this precept. This is Sirach. I know this is a small part in this story that people not even gonna meditate on, but I it was on my spirit to talk about it just now. This is Sirach chapter 33 and verse 4. This is important for men and women. This is some wisdom y'all need. This is gonna help y'all. Sirach 33 and 4 says, prepare what to say, and so shalt thou be heard, and bind up an instruction, and then make answer. So the first part that I want to What I really want to talk about is the first part. It says, prepare what to say. And it says, and so thou shalt be heard. So you want to actually prepare what you're finna say. If it's something that's really hurting you or something you dislike that your husband should that's doing, it really shouldn't be that, because your desire should be towards your husband in all things, and you should allow him to lead you in righteousness. But if it's something that you like less that he's doing, you should be able to how you bring it to him. Sometimes not what you're saying is how you saying it. King, I like when give him a compliment first. Say, King, I like when you do this. Man, I love when you do this. It actually make me happy when you do this. But this one kind of hurt a little bit. You know, and it's up to you. I'm just saying, just so you know, just so we on one accord, I can endure it for you because I love you, but I just want you to know that this do hurt a little bit. If you bring it to that man like that and he got understanding, he's gonna hear you. And that's what Daniel said. He said, look, hear my words. I'm not trying to tell you how to run your kingdom, but if you want to reign for a long time, you got to be a little bit more merciful. You got to do this. You got to start being righteous and cut your sins down because you're most high. Am I making sense, Aharon?
Done.
Are you more liable to hear your rib if she have something like that and she formulated like that?
Of course.
And everyone's happy now. Everyone's happy now. Now we have a happy household. So sometimes not what you say is how you say it. And we see Daniel. Daniel was hard, even since he was a boy. Before he was even grown, he was already walking in wisdom, man. And it's accounts on that. But Salakia, I got a little long-winded. But now we have verse 28.
Hold on, I got 2 precepts.
Okay, kind of bring it out.
This is Proverbs 20:2. It says, the fear of a king is as a roaring of a lion. Whoso provoketh him to anger sinneth against his own soul. So if you provoke a king, you basically sin against your own soul, because a king, it's nothing to a king to put you to death. This is also Proverbs 15:1. This is Daniel. This is how Daniel was speaking. Proverbs 15:1. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. And that's exactly why Daniel was maneuvering in the way he was. Even also, you can also keep this into account with Paul as well, when he was talking to King Agrippa. That's another topic, though. We can get back to Daniel.
I got to get one more.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm writing your precept down because it's been a minute since I've seen Proverbs 15:1. But I got another precept. It's Proverbs 16:24. It says, Proverbs 16:24, it says, pleasant words are as a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and health to the bones. And women, you can't have a nasty mouth. You just can't. You can't have a nasty spirit. It's super unattractive, especially for men who's walking in the truth. It's not going to get you nowhere. You want your words to be sweet. You want it to be like a honeycomb, because the scripture says those sweet words, it does something to a soul and it heals the bones. So that's why you want to open your mouth, especially to your husband, your king, your Lord. You want it to be sweet and honey. Like you got to know, you just got to understand. You got to understand. I said this when I first came into truth. A woman is so much more powerful when she's on one accord behind her husband. That's where she really shines. That's when she's really in her element, when she understands her role as a wife. That's when she really shining. That's when she really going hard, because that's what you were designed to do. Is to follow your husband, to allow him to lead. And I'm telling you, if you want your husband to show you off, I know if you want your husband to want to show you attention and affection, then this is what you do. Your words got to be like honey, sweet. You got to actually be that gentle, loving woman. You got to be that Proverbs 31 woman if you want your husband to be this mighty man and to have that soft side for you. You got to do your part, because men by nature, we rougher than women. We're not as passionate as women when it comes to what y'all whole little section is. But to get that side out of your husband, the side that y'all think y'all won't, you got to be doing this. You got to actually be on point when it comes to being a wife, when it comes to being a mother, when it comes to being his rib, his helpmeet. That's how you bring that out of him. It's not no, my husband just don't get it. It's like, nah, you don't get it. You got to understand it. Especially men in the truth. Men not fake. We in the truth. You want your husband to be affectionate. Your husband don't want to fake like he affectionate. That's not in him. That's not how he was designed. But if you want that side of him, then you have to actually know how to be a woman. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying this isn't what the breakdown is for, but I'm just saying, if you can hear me, if you can hear me, hear me. All right, back to Daniel chapter 4, we have verse 28. It says, all this came upon the king Nebuchadnezzar. At the time, it says, at the end of, like, where did I get at the time? Verse 29, it says, at the end of the 12 months, he walked in the palace of the kingdom of Babylon.
All right, so hold on. So he received all of these. He received the dream, then he received the interpretation, and then 12 months later, this is what's gonna happen. Come on.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna put this MacBook on the charger because it's gonna die.
All right.
Give me 1 second.
All right. So Khan, not Daniel. Nebuchadnezzar received the interpretation. He received the dream, and then in a span of 12 months, we are about to read what happened after that 12 months and what took place after that 12 months.
All right, Khan, I'm live.
Yes, sir.
We getting in this thing. Hold on, let me check the time. It's already 2:30, King.
Yeah, I know.
All right, we have verse 30. It says, the king spake and said, is not this great Babylon that I have built for the house of the kingdom? I gotta read better. Slack, yeah. I gotta get into it. Verse 30. It says, the king spake and said, it's not this great Babylon that I have built for the house of the kingdom by the might of my power and for the honor of my majesty.
All right, so hold on. In the beginning, Daniel 4 and 2. I'm gonna start at 1. Nebuchadnezzar the king unto all people, nations, and languages that dwelt in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. I thought it good to show the signs and wonders that the high God hath brought toward me. How great are his signs, and how mighty are his wonders. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and his dominion is from generation to generation. We see in the beginning, Nebuchadnezzar is going hard for the Lord. That first off, that don't make him an Israelite. Second off, that don't mean he can get salvation. Third off, that don't mean he grafted in. You know, a lot of people try to sneak those in. No, he just acknowledges our God, and good. That don't mean he keep the law, statutes, commandments. No, he just acknowledging the Most High God. Let's not forget what the vision was for. Let's not forget it. Daniel 4 and 25. That they shall drive thee out from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field, and they shall make thee to eat the grass of oxen. I'm not reading it like correctly, and just I'm going through it quick because that's not the point. And they shall wet thee with the dew of heaven, and 7 times shall pass over thee, till thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will. Until you figure out that the Most High God ruleth in the kingdom of men. That's what this is for. We see we see Nebuchadnezzar paying homage in the beginning. Then he receives a vision, a dream. 12 months later, he kind of forgot about the dream already. He forgot about the interpretation. 12 months later, it comes to pass that now what is he talking about? The king spake and said, verse 30, is not this great great Babylon, that I have built for the house of the kingdom by the might of my power and for the honor of my majesty. He forgot all about that dream. He forgot about it. He forgot about the interpretation. He was exalting himself. He started feeling himself. Pride entered into his heart. Now the Most High God, he kind of got to get on him. Pride is like a universal sin. You know, when I say universal sin, because we know that heathens can eat pork, they can eat roadkill, they won't get punished, blah blah blah. But if a heathen is prideful, we see in the scriptures time and time again, the Most High God punishes them for that.
He'll come get you.
He'll come get you. That's nobody's supposed to be prideful. That's what the scriptures say. The scriptures say pride was not meant for man. Pride and I believe wrath was not meant for man. So now we got to see the Most High get on them. Come on, verse 31. Unless you got something.
Wow. Verse 31. While the word was in the king's mouth, there fell a voice from heaven saying, O King Nebuchadnezzar, to thee it is spoken, the kingdom is departed from thee.
So while he's sitting here boasting in himself, he hear a voice in his ear. O King Nebuchadnezzar, to thee it is spoken, the kingdom is departed from thee.
That quick.
You know his heart fell because you know he remembers exactly what this is talking about now. Oh, damn. Oh, damn.
It's over with.
That's all you can say. Oh, damn. It's done now.
Well, why do that?
God damn it. Damn it, Nebby. That's probably what he... Damn it, Nebby. What's going on?
It's over. He knew. He forgot.
3, if you got... Unless you got something. Ooh. Nice. Verse 32. Salaki. Verse 32, unless you got something.
Verse 32 says, and they shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field. They shall make thee to eat grass as oxen, and 7 times shall pass over thee, until thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men. It says, until thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will.
So this is still the voice speaking, and he's giving him a recap on what he forgot 12 months ago. Hey, look, all of this is going to happen until you know that the Most High rule. Not until you think it, until you know. You got to acknowledge that. You got to know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men and giveth it to whomsoever he will, including you. Come on.
Verse 33. The same hour.
The same hour. The same hour. Before 60 minutes had passed, what happened?
The same hour was the thing fulfilled upon Nebuchadnezzar, and he was driven from men, and did eat grass as oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till his hairs were grown like eagle's feathers, and his nails like birds, like birds' claws.
So now we get Nebuchadnezzar actually turning into a beast. This man loses his mind. Imagine that. Imagine you seeing the king who earlier this morning boasting of himself, talking about his majesty, his beauty, his glory, this, that, and the third, his array of garments. Imagine you hear the king boasting about these things, and you go out to the field and you see him out there with the oxen eating grass. He's on his hands and knees now eating grass. This is the man whom everybody thought was a god. Back then, the king used to boast themselves to be God. They used to say, I'm a god. I'm a king of kings, God of gods, Lord of lords. They would boast themselves to be such. Imagine Nebuchadnezzar boasting that. A few minutes later, you see him outside eating grass. His hair is now like that of an eagle. It's like that of an eagle now. His nails, they don't even resemble human nails no more. It's like that of a bird's claw. The man, imagine being a Babylonian and you esteem this man to be a god, and you see your god out there eating grass like an animal. like a beast. That's shocking. That's shocking as hell. You would be confounded. You wouldn't know what to do. You would go up to him and say, "Oh, king," and then he'll kind of growl at you like an animal. he'll kind of moo at you like a cow. This man has went to the utmost basest that a man could go in return to being a beast. You got something?
Yeah, I'm trying to get it. It's been so long since I pulled it. I found it. This is Psalms chapter 49 and verse 20. It says, "Man that is in honor and understandeth not is like the beast that perish." So Nebuchadnezzar, he's a man who's in honor. He's actually the king, the ruling king over the whole Babylonian empire at the time. So he's the man that's in honor, but he didn't understand that even though he is the acting king, he got to understand that there's somebody more powerful than him. So since he couldn't wrap his hand around that thing, that he's not as strong as he think, and he's not running everything, he's not the top guy, he's not head honcho, the Most High God had to turn into the boogeyman and had to turn him into a beast. And really on a more plain level, the Most High God is just humbling Nebuchadnezzar. That's all it is. Because he's being prideful. He's saying, I made this kingdom. I made this kingdom great. This is all mine. I did this. This is all me. So the Most High popped up on his eyes and showed him, bro, you're not really that strong. The only reason why you're the king is because I designed it that way. So now because he got so much pride, the Most High said, I'm gonna humble you a little bit. I'm gonna bring you down a little bit. I'm gonna bring you down here so you understand that I'm him. I am him, the Holy One. I'm the one true living God. That's why the Most High did him like that, because of pride. So if you don't want the Most High God to come pop up on you and turn into the boogeyman, you got to make sure that your pride is in check. You got to make sure that you're not letting your pride get you in a weird stuff. When he come, it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. I be telling people this: you do not want the Most High to come visit you. Everybody be talking about how they had a dream and a vision, and God was there, and He told them that God didn't pop up on you, bro. Crazy thing is, you don't want God to pop up to you in a vision. You don't. You don't want him to come knock on your door. You don't want him to come talk to you because you're going to die. Bad stuff going to start happening. He the boogeyman. Trying to tell y'all, you don't want that. All these Christians got all these testimonies about I was drowning and a hand reached out and he saved me. Look, man, I don't know what you've seen, but that wasn't the Most High. Stop lying to people, bro. They always got the same testimony, huh?
Yes, sir.
They got the same testimony. They was drowning in sin. A hand reached out. A nasty white Edomite hand reached out and grabbed them and stopped them from drowning in his sin. That's their testimony most of the time. They got saved from sin.
Yep.
They got saved from sin, and then they still in sin. That's really the problem. Because when you talk to them and you give them, and they giving you the testimony, they're actively in sin. Shaving their beards, eating unclean foods. They're not wearing no fringes. They're not keeping the Sabbath. They ain't never kept none of the high holy days. The only holiday they think that they keeping in the Bible is Easter, and it's not in there. They're not really serving the Most High, man. They serving something else. But we know who we serving. We know why we serving them too, because he'll come get us. Right? So bro, you gotta come out of that mindset, man. You do not want to be prideful. Being prideful is the beginning of sin. That's what the scriptures teach us in the book of Sirach. I believe the 10th chapter. Actually, I'm gonna grab it because it's been a minute. This is Sirach, chapter 10, and verse. I'm trying to see where I'm gonna start at. I'm gonna start at 7 because it's something hot right there. and I probably jumped down. So Sirach chapter 10 and verse 7. It says, pride is hateful before God and man. So not only do the Most High God hate prideful men, other men hate prideful men. It says, and by both, it says, and by both doth one commit iniquity. So by sin, this is how you, I said, by pride, this is how you commit sin. It says, and because of unrighteous dealings, injuries and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. And this is why you see kingdoms come into rulership, and why you see kingdoms get destroyed is because how they're ruling their kingdom is wicked. How they came into power was wicked. How they're actively ruling their kingdom is wicked. And one of the things that plagues kings is pride. Hey, Aharon told me, everyone kind of talks about the show called Game of Thrones, and I just started watching it. And there's a little kid on there. His father dies, and he's the king. Man, he's a little shit. He is a little shit. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
He's a little shit, bro. He's nuts, and he's so prideful. And I'm just waiting for him to get knocked off in the series. I'm just waiting for it, bro. He needs to die. That's how I bet you. That's how the Most High be looking at these kings. Like, bro, you just gotta die. You just got to. But that's why the kingdoms. That's why people come into power, and that's why people die and their kingdom fall, because how they rule their kingdom. They got unrighteous, a whole bunch of unrighteous things. That's why I beat up this verse. It was verse 27. It's I believe it was verse 27. That's why Daniel told the king, he said, look, man, you got to leave off from your sins by doing righteousness. You got to show mercy. You got to do this. And then you're going to rule in tranquility, and you're going to have a long lasting kingdom. He didn't hearken to that. He kept being prideful. He not being merciful. Hey, Nebuchadnezzar had a thing going on in his kingdom where if once you hear these sounds go off in his kingdom, the different kind of instruments, the sackbut, the harp, the drums, when you hear these, you have to stop what you're doing. You have to get on your knees and bow down and pray and worship an idol. If you were caught not bowing down and worshiping an idol, what was the judgment? The judgment was you would get tossed into a furnace alive. You would get burned to death while you're alive. He would toss you into a furnace. That's how unmerciful he was. That's how he was running his kingdom. He was burning people alive. That was a normal day in Babylon. That's how he was running his kingdom. And that's just one of the things we see in the scriptures. Who knows about all of the other countless things that he was doing? But I'm gonna jump down to Sirach chapter 10 and verse 12. Sirach 10 and 12. It says, the beginning of pride is when one departed from God and his heart is turned away from his maker. So the very beginning is when you depart from the Most High God. That's when pride come in. When you say, look, I don't really need God. Who is God? I am God. Look how strong I am. Look at all these things I can do. If I command the man to death, he dies. If I command my army to go to war against them, they go to war against. I got control of everything. I'm God. So when you depart from the Most High God, that's the beginning of pride. When you start thinking that there's no one stronger than you. But remember, there's always someone bigger and better than you. Always. Always. Verse 13, it says, for pride is the beginning of sin, and he that hath it shall pour out abomination. And therefore the Lord brought upon them strange calamities and overthrew them utterly. The Lord have cast down the thrones of proud princes and set up the meek in their stead, and plucked up the roots of the proud nations and planted the lowly in their place. So the Most High is literally not he does not like pride at all. He will make you go through strange things. He will hurt you. Calamities is like how would you describe calamities? Bad stuff. That's the quickest thing I got. Calamities is when bad stuff happens, but not just bad stuff, strange bad stuff. Now you walking around and you lost all your understanding, and you braying, You're making weird noises. You think that you're actually an animal now. You're scratching that stuff. That's what he did to Nebuchadnezzar. He turned him into a beast. His understanding left him. He didn't even know how to stand up and act like a man no more. You start acting like a beast. So if you want to prevent yourself from getting plagued from the Most High and from Him, the Most High God is going to take things from you until you acknowledge that He's the one true living God. He will do that. He always do that. The Most High God took away our entire language, our identity, our land, our family, our holy, honorable things, our customs. He took away all of that because we wasn't acknowledging Him. That's what He did to us. He took away our children, put them in slavery. He plaguing us, sickness, diseases. We don't even know what to eat no more. What's good for our bodies? We eating pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, thinking it's the hottest thing, the best thing to eat. He literally destroyed us all because we wasn't acknowledging Him, all because we wasn't giving the credit to Him. So if you don't want to go through that no more, start giving credit to the Most High God for everything, or He gonna come take everything. Like He big bank take little bank, and He gonna win every time. So stop playing with Him like that. So like you, I kind of went on a rant. You got anything?
No, sir.
Right. So Daniel chapter 4, and we have verse 34. It says, "And at the end of the days, I Nebuchadnezzar lifted up my eyes unto heaven, and my understanding returned unto me, and I blessed the Most High, and I praised and honored Him that liveth forever, whose dominion is an everlasting dominion, and His kingdom is from generation to generation."
God.
Now he got some act right, huh?
Now he got some sense back to him.
Got some act right. He said, blessed be the Most High. He praised and honored the Most High. He acknowledged him and was like, understood that He's the Most High. He's the true living God. That's all the Most High God want. Verse 35, it says, "And all the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing. And He doth according to His will in the army of heaven and among the inhabitants of earth, and none can stay His hand or say unto Him, What doest thou? At the same time, my reason returned unto me, and for the glory of my kingdom, my honor and my brightness returned unto me, and my counselors and my lords sought unto me, and I was established in my kingdom, and my excellent majesty was added unto me."
All right, so hold on. So now we can see that he had to go under such rigorous punishment until he figured out, okay, the Most High God He's the true living God. No one can say this to him. No one can say, "What doest thou?" You can't. That's what he figured out. You just can't. All right, and he already kind of knew that a little bit from Daniel and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He was always going to back and forth between, yeah, he acknowledged God, then he don't acknowledge God. But now it's like, now he don't got a choice. Most High put that bind on him. He put that bind on him. Look, nigga, you finna be like a beast now. Most High don't care. Most High don't care. He'll leave you in a beast state for the rest of your life. He don't care to do that. That's easy in the sight of the Lord. That's easy work. Take His understanding from Him. That's all He got to say. He'll point at an angel, say, you go take His understanding from Him. Angel ain't finna question it. He ain't finna ask why. He ain't finna be like, today? No, He's doing it.
In that same hour.
In the same hour. Until the Lord say, give it back, or the man may just die without understanding. Simple.
Hey, some men don't figure it out.
Yeah. Some men never figure it out. Hey, like the scriptures say, ever learning, but never able to come into the knowledge of the truth. You're always learning. You're always looking for something. You're always trying to find the truth, but you're never able to come into it. You're still in a beast-like mind. You're still in a beast-like mind. You're still, and who's more of a beast? than Esau. Esau has our minds finagled. Esau got our minds
What
all
was that
messed
word?
up. I said finagled. Let me look up finagle. Let me see.
That's
I
hot.
heard this word before. Let me see.
That's hot. It felt right, huh?
It felt great.
He said,
Finagle. Let's see what this means. Obtain something by devious or dishonest means. Finagle means to cheat or deny. That's the root word, cheat or deny. Um, acting devious or dishonest manner. I don't know. I don't know if that was the right context I
it
used
felt
again.
right though, huh?
It felt great.
It felt right. It felt like
It
how
felt
you used
great,
it
bro.
was perfect.
But Esau has taught us to be more beast-like than himself. And so we lose our understanding, and it's that much harder to come into the truth now. It's that much harder because we're under this man. We're under Esau, and we're under his subjection and his teachings and this and that, and everything is flipped upside down. I mean, everything is flipped upside down. He got you taking shit out your body you need, but he's saying you don't need it. You good. You know, you
He
don't need that.
removing, hey, he removing your tonsils, your appendix, and he's saying, "Look, man, you don't need it.
You don't
You
need it.
can go without both of your kidneys. You good. Just
Just take
donate,
this medicine.
right?"
Just take this, bro. You'd be straight. Then he wink at you.
Oh
You know what I'm
God,
saying? He a little dirty Edomite. He'll wink at you. Yeah, bro, just take this medicine. It'll make you whole. Then he gets using smooth words, and then he slithered out of there. You don't know where he went. It's just a snake trail somewhere around here. He
damn,
slithered out of there
he slithered out of there with your kidneys.
with your kidneys. Now they on the black market. But uh we can finish this out, bro. Verse 37.
All right, come verse 37. Now I Nebuchadnezzar praise and extol and honor the King of heaven, all whose works are truth, and his ways judgment. And those that walk in pride, he is able to abase.
Yep. Who knows that more than Nebuchadnezzar? Now he figured it out. He was like, damn, this makes sense. That's what he said. This makes sense. Those who are proud, he can abase them. How mighty is the God of heaven and earth? You know, he probably in the spirit over there. He probably feeling it like, damn,
Woo!
boy, he got me. He
Ah,
got me. He
I
got
get
me.
it. I get it now.
I understand.
Hey,
Wow.
bro, you know how sweet it is whenever we learn something new about the Bible and we like, bro, that's hot. I get it. I can see now. I get why it's there.
Yep.
That's how he was feeling. He was trying to get in the spirit. He was like, I get it, man. That's sweet.
That makes sense.
That,
That makes sense.
that's plain.
Yep. Unless you got anything else, I got 2 verses.
Nah, I ain't got nothing.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 58. It says, therefore, my beloved brethren, be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as you know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. You want to be unmovable in this truth. Be like a tree planted by the waters, man. Trees are if you got the right tree, if you go into the forest, I mean the rainforest. I'm talking about a real forest. I'm not talking about you go to the damn zoo and they got the forest set up. I'm not talking about that kind of forest with the plastic tree. If you go into an actual forest, you will see a tree that has roots. I mean, big trees, roots that stick out some feet. Could be 15 feet. How in diameter of the damn root of the tree is fat, and it just grows up. Look up a Lebanon tree. Look how tall them grow. Those trees are immovable. You can hit it with a wrecking ball. You can hit it with a car. You can hit it with whatever the hell you want to hit it with. It's not moving because it's that grounded to the earth. You can't lift the tree up. You can't pull up a tree just by the strength of your own damn hands. You can't just lift it up and be like, oh, well, yep, here go the roots and here go all the stem. You can't do that. That's how rooted and grounded they are. If you want to understand how hard it is, try to grab grab a lock of your hair. When I say a lock, I mean just a good handful of your hair and just yank it. You ain't gonna pull it out. How much more a tree? Makes sense, right?
That was
Galatians, Galatians chapter 6 and verse 9. And let us not be weary in well doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. It's on you, Ak.
kind. I thought about this one after you asked me. I said I didn't have nothing, but I do got something. Man, we got feast days coming up. Trumpet's coming up. We keeping ours on the 24th. Right after that, you got in October, maybe like 4th or 5th, I believe. Memory serves right. We're gonna be keeping our Day of Atonement. Then you got what we all been waiting for. Some of our favorite high holy days, man. Feast of Tabernacles in October also. So man, we got to get our spirits right so we can serve the Most High God in truth and sincerity, and really just turn up for the Most High God. Spend some quality time with your Akim, and really, man, just serve the Most High God with a smile on your face. Acknowledge the memorial of these feast days, and really just get in rhythm with the Most High God. Get in tune with the Most High God, man. So it's not grievous. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing that we get to serve the Most High God, even while we're in nasty Babylon under our oppressors and our enemies. But it's still a blessing to be able to be in this truth and to be with like-minded brothers and to celebrate these feast days. So we got to get in the spirit, man. We got to get in the spirit. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and close out with Sirach chapter 43 and 30. It says, when you glorify the Lord, exalt him as much as you can, for even yet will he far exceed. And when you exalt him, put forth all your strength, and be not weary, because you can never go far enough. And we're gonna close out this lesson of Daniel chapter 4. If you're in the area, we're gonna be on Pine and Peoria in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Here in a few. So we're gonna open up camp, but we're closing out this lesson in this live. All praises to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Hashem and Mashiach, Yahweh Shah, Shalom.
Shalom.
God.